The 2020 Mississippi flag referendum was a legislatively referred state statute appearing on the November 3, 2020 general election ballot in Mississippi. Voters were asked whether the design proposed by the Commission to redesign the Mississippi state flag, which does not contain the Confederate battle flag and includes the words, "In God We Trust," should be adopted as the new official flag of Mississippi. The referendum passed by a 73% to 27% margin on November 3, 2020, after an earlier redesign proposal had been voted down in the 2001 Mississippi flag referendum and following the adoption of a new state flag by Georgia in 2003. The Mississippi flag remained the only U.S. state flag to include the Confederate battle flags. Saltire. In 2001, a survey conducted by the North American Vexillological Association placed Mississippi's flag 22nd in design quality of the 72 Canadian provincial, U.S. state and U.S. territorial flags ranked. On June 9, 2020, lawmakers gathered votes and started drafting legislation to change the state flag. The action came after weeks of national protests following the death of George Floyd, including a protest outside the Mississippi governor's mansion on June 6. This was the first substantial action to change the state flag since the 2001 referendum. On June 11, Senate Democrats filed a resolution to change the state flag. On June 24, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann announced his support for a new flag. Hosemann was joined by Attorney General Lynn Fitch, State Auditor Shad White, Agriculture Commissioner Andy Gibson and Insurance Commissioner Mike Cheney. On June 28, 2020, the Mississippi legislature passed a bill, House Bill 1796, that would relinquish the state flag, remove the state flag from public buildings within 15 days of the bill's effective date and constitute a 9-member commission to design a new flag that would be put to voters in a referendum to be held in November 2020. The bill required that the Confederate battle flag not be included on the proposed design and the motto, "In God We Trust," be included, as Georgia did when it removed the Confederate emblem from its state flag in 2003. In the House, the bill was passed by 91 in favor and 23 against in the Senate. The bill was passed with 37 in favor and 14 against. Governor Tate Reeves signed the flag bill into law on June 30, 2020, as the legislation repealed the sections of the Mississippi State Code which made provisions for a state flag, namely Section 3 of March 16. Mississippi ceased to have an official state flag at this point. Under the terms of House Bill 1796, a body known as the Commission to Redesign the Mississippi State Flag was constituted to suggest a design for a new state flag no later than September 14, 2020. The bill instructed the Mississippi Department of Archives and History to develop a plan for the removal of the 1894 flag from public buildings across the state and provide administrative support for the Commission. The Act stipulated that any design proposed by the Commission must include the words, "In God We Trust," and must not contain the Confederate battle flag. The Commission consisted of 9 members, 3 of which were appointed by the Speaker of the Mississippi House of Representatives, 3 members appointed by the Lieutenant Governor of Mississippi, and 3 by the Governor. Former State Supreme Court Justice Reuben V. Anderson, who serves as President of the Board of Trustees of the Mississippi Department of Archives and History, was unanimously elected as the Commission's chairman at its first meeting on July 22. The proposed design would be subject to a referendum to be held concurrently with the general election on November 3, 2020. Should the referendum result in a yes vote for the proposed design, then the design would be officially adopted as the new state flag of Mississippi during the next regular legislative session. Should the referendum result in a no vote for the proposed design, the Commission would reconvene and propose different designs. The legislation stated that further referenda could then be held on the Tuesday after the first Monday in November of a year in which the Commission makes a new recommendation until a yes vote is achieved. Mississippi would remain without an official state flag until a new one is adopted through this process. The Mississippi Department of Archives and History invited the public to submit designs for a new state flag on July 13. In accordance with the rules imposed by House Bill 1796, designs would only be accepted if they contain the words, "In God We Trust," and not include the Confederate battle flag. The Commission also added that suggestions would need to be unique and adhere to principles of the North American Vexillological Association, that the design should use only 2 or 3 basic colors, be simple enough for a child to draw, and have meaningful symbolism. Entries were to be submitted by email or by post and be rake